indulge me, would you? Isn't it absurdly funny when scientists refer to evolution and its process so mundanely? Bacteria existed, then so and so happened, and suddenly a conscious being appeared. What? That's it? That's all the mystery? Well, is it not the most natural of human behaviors to brush off and ignore the single question worth asking? The question that stares at us throughout our existence, yet one we structured all of civilization to help us ignore. The most fascinating subject of mine is how on earth one does not constantly marvel at the fabric of existence. How does one get used to their existence as if it was the most natural thing of all? We spent thousands of years barricading ourselves from that chaos out of which we emerged to a point where we numbed ourselves completely from the reality of it all. The only question in my eyes is how everyone isn't rolling on the ground and screaming in panic every waking second of being. Anyways, to get back to evolution, when someone says I don't believe in God, I believe in evolution. So what? What does that mean? What does that give you? It seems to me to be empty and devoid of meaning. Yet, one who proposes such a belief does so triumphantly. I fail to understand why. One might suggest that it is about time that humans stepped out of their egocentrism and realized they're just part of a larger system. However, I am cynical towards this argument, and I am here to make a case precisely polar to it. I think what evolution theory does psychologically is put humans at the top of the hierarchy and tries to cut out a higher power that's overarching us. One might make a rebuttal and say that nature itself is put at the top in this mindset. Nevertheless, I'd say that we believe nature can be controlled and overcome. Therefore, in evolutionary theory, nature is more so just an obstacle, a worthy opponent, something for humanity to occupy themselves with to not run headfirst into despair. And besides, lately, with the rise of save the planet ideology, nature is not even an opponent anymore. It is a child to be taken care of. Again, positioning humans as the supreme rulers over the material world. I believe the next evolutionary step in the psyche of humanity is to view ourselves as God. In clearer words, to view ourselves firmly at the top of the hierarchy of existence. And do not think for a second that this step is happening suddenly. Our position in the hierarchy of the world has been a struggle since the birth of consciousness. In this viewpoint, one might view any attempt at faith as a struggle to accept this harrowing thought of a human being the best there is to it. Hence, the inescapable thought of an omnipotent, eternal perfection. Attempts to replace the position of God have been happening all throughout history and obviously painfully unsuccessfully. Hopeless attempts of the same kind individually are also nothing new or noteworthy. However, my point is that a shift in the collective unconscious of such magnitude and of such scale seems to be uncanny. And this shift seems to be long in motion, perhaps starting with Protestantism. Obviously, I'm grasping in the dark here and speaking precisely when operating in such longitudes of time is extremely difficult. Sadly, crude is the best I can do. Nevertheless, I shall march on. The next groundbreaking shift comes with the scientific revolution. The aforementioned evolution theory springs up, industrialization, the world wars. Humanity actively embodies this shift I'm trying to paint with ideological upheavals of Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, which echo throughout the rest of Europe. And the train does not stop. The atomic bomb, the moon landing, the internet, the reach and capability of science is growing exponentially. We suddenly, speaking in an evolutionary time frame, possess unfathomable power. It is only natural that we arrogantly presume to have outgrown the need for the idea of God. We shall take our rightful position as the creator. Well, we will try to anyways. We shall develop consciousness in a computer and even grow life in a laboratory. We shall conquer and eradicate entropy, sickness, and eventually overcome death. Not only shall we heroically save the planet, but we shall also gaze into the boundaries of the universe and colonize the galaxies. Our potential seems to be unlimited. Our narcissism growing on fertilizer. Humanity seems psychologically to have reached adolescence. A painful awakening is awaiting. Good luck, kids. Happy growing up.